When navigating or manipulating data in VBA, two of the most powerful tools we have are Offset and Resize. These functions allow us to move through the worksheet dynamically and to adjust the dimensions of ranges without ever needing to refer to hard-coded addresses. They are foundational techniques for building flexible, scalable macros, especially in financial models where cell ranges grow, shrink, or shift depending on the dataset. We begin with the offset function, which moves us relative to a starting point. Our first example starts in cell B2. From that position, the offset instruction moves 2 rows down and 0 columns to the right, which lands us in cell B4. Into this cell, the macro writes a simple result, demonstrating how offset can relocate operations without manually specifying the destination address. This is especially useful when looping through rows or filling patterns down a column. Next, we use offset again, this time with negative movement. Starting from cell B6, the macro moves 3 rows up and 1 column to the right, reaching cell C3. This highlights that offset works in all directions, forward, backward, upward, or sideways, making it incredibly versatile when navigating data structures programmatically. After practicing movement, we shift to resize, which changes the size of a range. The first resize example begins at cell B8. From this anchor point, the macro expands the range into a 3-row by 2-column block, covering cells B8 to C10. Every cell in this expanded block receives the same label. Resize is invaluable when selecting tables, output sections, or multi-cell structures whose size depends on the data. We then illustrate how resize can also reduce the size of a larger range. Taking the range B12 to D15, which spans 4 rows and 3 columns, we shrink it to 2 rows and 1 column. The new, smaller range covers cells B12 and B13, and both are updated with text. This demonstrates how resize can trim ranges when only part of the data is needed. Finally, we combine the two techniques, offset and resize, in one instruction. Starting from cell B18, the macro moves 1 row down and 1 column to the right, arriving at cell C19. From this new position, the range is expanded into a 2-row by 2-column block, covering C19 to D20. This pattern of offsetting a starting point and then resizing from there appears constantly in real VBA work, for dynamically building reports, positioning result blocks, or populating variable-sized data tables. By that moment, multiple cells across the sheet have been filled as a direct result of dynamic movement and resizing. B4 receives a value through offset, C3 through offset with negative coordinates, B8:C10 through resize, B12:B13 through shrinking, and C19:D20 through the combined use of both tools. Offset and resize unlock a level of flexibility that static cell references simply cannot offer. Instead of working with fixed addresses, we work with relationships. How far from this point? How large should this block be? Where should the next structure appear? These tools allow VBA procedures to adapt to changing data, making models robust, scalable, and far easier to maintain.